Hey everyone, it's the Thesterninator. Welcome to the channel. We have a really fun and interesting thing going on today, working with a couple different artists on a shared prompt. This is really exciting and something I've been looking forward to doing for quite some time. So without much further ado, let's go ahead and hop into it and meet our artists.
Hey everyone, it's Angel from the channel OddnDraw. I'm actually currently working on a Greek version, so make sure to check that video out right after this one.
Hey everybody, my name is PewterCityJim. I'm the creator of the Solar region based on Southern California and some of the surrounding areas. I hope you give me a look in.
Hey, what's up guys? I'm Dev, and currently I have a project in the works that cannot be disclosed, but I am, slowly posting stuff here and there.
Right on. Thank you guys for joining us. Super excited that we're all here talking Fakemon and talking design process. I gave us all a prompt that was take a Pokemon that deserves an evolution, one that maybe we saw got kind of skipped over for one reason or another, and we thought this Pokemon could either be fixed or could be improved upon, or just overall we felt deserved to have an evolution. And so these guys along with me have been working really hard to make sure that we get something really cool and really fun, and I'm pretty excited for it. I'll go ahead and start if that's cool with everybody.
Yeah. So
for sure,
I'm going to give kind of an overview on the thought process that I had going into this design prior to actually showing it off. So I wanted to pick a Pokemon, and I picked something from Gen 5. And I thought, I want to pick a Pokemon that I feel got skipped over, where other Pokemon of the same the same ilk, kind of got their time in the spotlight, got their time in the sunshine, and got their time to be something really cool and really exciting. But this Pokemon kind of got skipped over. Now, while I was doing that, I did happen to look through and find, okay, here's some of the inspiration. Here's the inspiration behind the name. Here's the inspiration behind kind of the motif that was being gone for with the decision-making process of it initially. And I want to introduce you all to the evolution to Maractus.
I knew that's who you were gonna pick. When you said Gen 5 grass type, I was like, we're absolutely gonna touch on Maractus.
Yeah.
Oh, this is so cool.
Yeah. So
I dig it. That's awesome.
I really wanted to go with, I wanted something that would fit into my region, which is the Costawis region, based on the West Coast and kind of the area surrounding California, Oregon, and parts of Mexico. And with that, I thought, well, cactuses are really prominent. I have several cactuses outside of my home that just keep coming back no matter how many times that I try and kill them. And I thought cactuses are really versatile, really good at adapting to whatever is around them. Problem is, a lot of the animals who live near cactuses and in the desert areas adapt as well. And I thought Maractus is a cactus Pokemon. Cactuses are designed to keep predators away from their delicious juices inside. So what happens when these other Pokemon, who may be predators to a cactus-type Pokemon, adapt to ignore those spikes? Well, obviously, Maractus is going to have to adapt and evolve to find some other way of keeping those Pokemon away. And so I said, how about just big fists?
Yeah.
So we can see that those pink flowers that it has evolved into these large fists. It has those pigtails that kind of elongated and became these big burly arms. Of course, it had to have fighting type added to it. So yeah, I'm pretty pumped about it. I spent a lot of time trying to figure out what direction I wanted to take this. I've done a lot of more feminine designs recently, and so I wanted something that was less hyper feminine and more just like almost punk rock type.
I love its
really cool
stance.
Little stance. Yeah, I gave it legs.
Yeah, that's so neat.
Yeah, I really like
its pose. Oh, I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, it's alright. Personally, I'm a really big fan of big arms and hands. I think those are always cool, so anytime they're on a design, it's like 10 out of 10 for me.
Thanks.
I like how the pose kind of makes you feel like if Maractus launches a punch from its smaller hands, that the bigger hands would mimic it. And I really appreciate that. It kind of reminds me of what's that movie that just came out? That wasn't Annabelle. It was that creepy android doll.
Oh, Megan.
Megan, like that final scene where that little girl is like boxing her, she has like the controls in her hands, and then like the big robot like mimics it.
Yeah.
I can kind of see this one doing that, and I really appreciate how this is such a like unconventional evolution to Maractus, because if you know, like us as artists, we also look at other Pokemon designs, and we've seen like plenty of Maractus evolutions, and this was definitely like a departure from those. So like I really appreciate this, and this was not what I was expecting at all. Like, not to spoil what I have coming down the pike, but I was like, oh no, me and Thesterninator might have like a similar theme with our Pokemon, but now like those like worries have been crushed. I'm like, okay, we went in two different paths, so I'm like really happy with how this design turned out, because it's like really cool, really unexpected.
Thanks. Yeah, I will say, when I was looking up, I first told you guys like I'm gonna do a Gen 5 grass type. Just to make sure we didn't overlap, and I'd already picked Maractus in my head, and then I started thinking, man, I really have no idea where to take this. I could go the same route that I've gone with the more feminine designs, but I didn't want to do that because I felt like I'm oversaturating the market. But at the same time, I would look at other artists, and I realized, man, a lot of people have done fixes to Maractus. I look at people like Subjectively, who actually did several updates to it for his region. And I thought, I need to go a very different direction with this. I need to go a direction that feels like it could be Maractus, but at the same time feels like it could be fresh. And so, yeah, I gave it these stumpy little legs to give it more of a fighter stance. And I thought, yeah, it'd be really surprising, I think, to run into in-game a Maractus and then evolve it and think, whoa, I did not expect this. And that's kind of what I was hoping for with this. So thank you guys.
Yeah, that's cool.
Maractus has like those like Maracus hands, so like I feel like someone who doesn't know about this evolution would walk up and like see it like shaking his hands, like, oh, it like wants to dance, it wants to like make music. You just get up to it, instead it just punches you in the face.
Oh yeah, just decks you completely. I like to picture when the hands open up, they do just look like flowers, like they probably have the yellow palms. And
like little stamens in there.
Yeah, almost to, instead of fearing being attacked by other Pokemon, it's now like drawing them in for a fight. Like, look at these pretty flowers. Don't you want to eat the cactus meat from inside here? And then just
don't you want delicious nectar?
Oh yeah, from prey to predator.
Oh man, I love it.
It's with the haymaker.
It's with the haymaker.
I've been watching a lot of Hajime no Ippo recently, and I could see this guy, getting in a boxing ring. It's pretty cool.
Up next is me. So when choosing my Pokemon, Maractus was actually on the list of Pokemon that I wanted to touch on, but I was like, you know what? Let me go even more like unknown, really, really unappreciated. And this Pokemon is in barely any games. It doesn't make any like notable anime appearances. It's when after like the what's it called, the what do they call it when like they cut down the national dex, so you can't get every Pokemon in each game. Whenever the Dexit, all the games like post Dexit, people are like, oh, I hope this Pokemon comes back. Oh, I hope my favorite Pokemon. And like scrolling through those posts, like no one ever mentioned this Pokemon. So like, you know what? This Pokemon is the definition of underrated. And I told you guys the generation and the type. So I kind of want to see if you guys could guess what this Pokemon is. Just a refresher. I said this Pokemon was a Gen 3 bug type.
Okay, so when you mentioned that first, I was like, okay, there's so many options for this, and Gen 3, I feel like
did have a lot of bugs, yeah.
It had a lot of bugs that also did not stick around. So I was...
Well, I know it's not Surskit, because that one was in Gen 9.
Let's see. I'm scrolling through right now. I thought maybe it's going to be like a... Oh, I don't.
Don't do that off the top of your head.
I'm guessing like Silcoon.
I don't know from
Cascoon?
Bookcast.
Yeah.
Okay, you see, you guys' inability to be able to guess this Pokemon just speaks to how underrated it is.
I want to throw one more guess in before the reveal. Could it be a Ninjask?
One last like toss in the hat.
Yeah, could it be a Ninjask evolution?
You guys are not gonna get this, and that's fine.
Oh no!
But I actually chose Volbeat.
Okay. I was actually gonna guess that next.
Who?
And then I forgot about it.
Volbeat.
Yeah, no, I know.
Oh.
So I want to introduce you guys to Volbero.
Oh
He's
my!
such a dapper little gentleman.
Look at his hat.
Look at that mustache.
Oh my
I
gosh!
really like
This is adorable. Oh my god.
Thank you. So as you guys can tell, I chose a mariachi twist to this Pokemon.
Yeah.
Just because looking at Volbeat, I just see that big like red feature on its head, and then I also see its black body with accent colors. And I was like, maybe this is just me, but I see a mariachi. I see it. I see the vision.
That's cool.
I see it a lot, and Volbeat has such a sassy little stance, too,
Mm-hmm.
that I feel like really, really pumps into this design.
I love the curl in the antennas. It immediately makes me think of like brass instruments, like a trumpet or yeah.
And Volbeat actually already has those like curls. I just changed like the ends of them, so it wasn't a direct like
Right.
like adaptation of that feature. I like changed it a little bit so it really reads as an evolution. But yeah, Volbeat has like some features on its abdomen that I turned into a little tie. And I think just overall this design is actually really successful because it takes what Volbeat already has and it adds a new little theme and twist to it. So I'm actually like really happy with this design. I'm just gonna go ahead and share its Pokédex entry in the Pokédex page. So Volbero, the Firefly Pokemon. Volberos are able to electrify the surrounding air with their tails. This, along with the beating of their wings, are able to create electrified sound waves that resemble the sounds of various instruments. So I added the electric type, just because I think a Firefly Pokemon, I think the electric type is kind of a given.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
But yeah, I'm really happy with this. The shiny is based on like white Charo suits that mariachis will bring out on special occasions.
Nice.
That is super cool. I love that you
Nice.
went into like
I really
the
like that.
I love that you went into the research of like mariachis as well with the design elements of it. I mean, you get to, like when you picture a mariachi, I think you could just go off of that and say like, oh, I know what a mariachi is. But like with the shiny, you were able to go into like the lore of mariachis and like the design elements and the reasons why. Where it's like, oh, it's for special occasions. Well, finding a shiny is a special occasion, and so he's
Yeah.
he's dressed for the event.
Yeah, for sure. And this might be a little too late to reveal. I don't know if anyone of my audience knows this, but I'm actually Mexican. So, like, to me, like, making a mariachi Volbeat was kind of like the most obvious thing to do because I'm Mexican and that's my culture. So,
That's cool.
so I barely had to do any research on mariachis because I just knew that off the top of my head.
All right, so now you're gonna show us the Illumise version.
Dang it! I was like, I wanted to surprise you guys. I was like, I don't know if you guys knew this, but Volbeat has a counterpart, and it's Illumise. And I will go ahead and share that evolution.
Oh my gosh, I was joking. Oh,
Illumirachi.
she's
I love
precious.
it.
So yeah, I made a
That
Illumise
hair.
evolution.
Wow.
I
That
gotta
is
say,
so cute.
I never much cared for Volbeat or Illumise and would constantly in Emerald version get upset running into so many. I would love to run into them now.
Oh yeah.
That's kind of like the worst part of like making fixes to your designs or making like evolutions to your favorite Pokemon or underrated Pokemon. Because you're like, I absolutely like, biases aside, I would absolutely love to catch either of these guys. Like I love the designs that I made for them.
That is so neat. I love the little stars in the irises as well.
Oh, I didn't even notice that. That's awesome.
Illumirachi's Pokédex entry. Illumirachi, the Firefly Pokemon. These Pokemon love performing with Volberos. Illumirachi's captivating voices perfectly pair with Volbero's orchestra. During their performances, they can tell entire stories through music and lights.
That's so cool. Again, just top tier shiny.
Yeah.
Wow.
It makes me think of the like the Galar band that you see throughout the whole series.
Oh yeah.
But like it's like just these two alone match that energy, and I love that. I love that you can see like there's it almost you can see the story behind the two. Oh, and then you have a picture of them.
Wow. That's so nice.
Yeah, these are great. I love them.
What a cool pair.
So shout out to shout out to Owen Woodfin. His Instagram is nifduwu. He's a artist on the Mazda fan game project, which I was a part of for some time. But yeah, he made this background for one of the towns, and I don't know if you guys noticed, but the trainer silhouettes that I used were also for Mazda, because I don't have a Mexican theme region, and I don't think I'll ever make one. But subjectively, Jax's Mazda region is honestly kind of like top tier, like Fakemon content.
Oh yeah,
like it's so good.
Just kudos. These are great. I can't believe that you did both Volbeat and Illumise. And
wow.
Man, that's awesome. I will say, when you showed Volbeat, I thought, he's not going to do Volbeat, because if you do Volbeat, you have to do Illumise. And there's no way that he's going to do them both. And that's why when we were guessing, I was like, well, I know it's not that. And
well, thank you. Like, I really like how these designs kind of read as characters too. So like, I can see them being like very like animated. I can see them having like defined personalities if they showed up in anywhere, something like the anime or something. So I really like how these turned out. The Chinese also, like the female one kind of gives like Sailor Moon a little bit, which I really like. Kind of gives She-Ra a little bit.
I see it. Yeah, I was about to say She-Ra too. I also picked a bug type. I'll let you guys try and guess. The thing that made me pick this one is that Gen 2 did it so dirty. It does not get any stab moves by level up. Not a one. It has 2 types, and it does not get a singular stab move in its learn set. Any guesses?
Oh, I would have to guess.
I want to.
Because you're mentioning stab a lot. I was gonna say maybe Ledyba. Oh,
it is.
Oh, is it?
Turn. Ding, ding, ding.
I really thought you were gonna say Heracross. I really thought you were gonna say Heracross.
No, Heracross gets.
Like, no, Heracross gets stabbed. He gets like
Mega Horn, which was like, I think, the highest base power move in Gen 2, if I'm remembering correctly. All right,
let's see.
Go ahead and upload these guys.
Oh, I love that.
Thank you.
Oh, this is so good.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that.
Everything that Ledyba deserved.
So with Ledyba's design, it's got like influences from like Sentai style heroes, Japanese superheroes. I wanted to take that concept and push it a little bit further. So I went for it. Now in the US, it was like Big Bad Beetleborgs. When Saban took it, but initially it was J-Fighter Kabuto. And so kind of Sentai-ish designs, but more armored and more sort of like tech focused. And so, yeah, I kind of wanted to take that idea and push that a little bit further. So you've got this robotic looking kind of beetle guy. I like Ledyba because it retains, like, 6 limbs. It's a really cool kind of iconic design, but yeah, in terms of stats, super underwhelming, and in terms of moves that it gets, super underwhelming. So I just kind of wanted to take that and push that a little bit further, especially because in Galar we got Orbeetle. That whole line was kind of like a counterpart to Ledyba and Ledyba. And I wanted to give a third evolution to kind of even things out a little bit. I was thinking that I might do a Mega as well, but unfortunately, I just did not have time. So yeah, that's my design thoughts on that.
It's great. Speaking of the Orbeetle, I would love. Can you read us the Pokédex entry?
Oh yeah, sure thing. Ledyba, who are defeated by Orbeetle at least 5 times, will undergo a stunning metamorphosis, becoming Ledyborg. Righteous indignation wells within the heroic Ledyba, lending it might to do what must be done and vanquish its foe. Its range of punches can topple skyscrapers, though it tries to mitigate collateral damage in its battles as much as possible.
Oh great. I love the idea that it evolves by defeat. I don't know, have we seen a Pokemon that does that?
Not to my knowledge.
I don't think so.
Yeah, it feels like it's very much the it makes me think of like Farfetch'd to Sirfetch'd, but like on the other end of that same type of spectrum.
Yeah, so one of the big tropes with like those Sentai shows, and I think like heroic characters in general, is they will generally fail before they succeed.
Right.
They will fail, they'll realize something they need to do or something they need to be, and then they come back and win. So that's kind of the thought process that I was going with there.
I love it. I love and I thought that same thing because I don't have the same knowledge base as you have with the Battleborgs and things, but I do think of like Power Rangers. That's what I grew up with. And the whole idea of like new challenge, you have to fail in order to succeed. And I 100% got that from reading its dex entry, and I was like, that is so cool. And combining that with Orbeetle, who is this UFO monstrosity.
Oh yeah, it's such a it reads bad guy. You know, it reads Power Rangers bad guy. So yeah, and I'm pretty sure that was intentional on Game Freak's part. I just wanted to take it a step further.
And I think you took it at least 5-10 steps further. This is so great. I love that it has like it brings back that armored type look.
Yeah. So I leaned on a couple of different robotic characters for inspiration. Pulseman, which was actually another Game Freak game. Similar design influences there. Like, you know, the metal characters from the Sonic franchise, Metal Sonic. You know, characters like that. I really wanted to lean into those sort of ideas. And then I also used like Ceruledge, Gallade, a couple of other sort of like not necessarily mechanical, but armor heavy sort of Pokemon in that humanoid sort of vein to kind of finish off the proportions and that kind of thing too. So
yeah, and I can feel like the personality coming through on this thing. Like I can see it believing itself to be like the hero. He has heavy protagonist vibes.
That's what I was going for. Just that stoic sort of standing up to face the challenge kind of look.
Mm-hmm. And it still feels Ladybug, which I think when you're making a design like this from something like Ledian, you're like, okay, I want to make a Super Sentai type character who feels like a fighter and a warrior, but also a ladybug. And I feel like you really mixed those two prompts together very well here.
I very much appreciate that.
Yeah, personally, I really enjoy this design too. I'm like a really huge just tokusatsu fan in general.
Nice.
So I personally, like, Lydian is like in at least my top 15, just because he just exudes that energy, but actually, you know, gets a short end of the stick because Game Freak doesn't want to buff him, but it's okay. That's why you know, us fake mod artists are bringing him up at any chance. Shout out to my friend Plub Cole. He is the biggest Lydian fan that I know, and he is absolutely gonna love this design.
Oh, nice, cool. I hope he does. Thank you so much.
No, I love this design. I'm probably not the most knowledgeable person on stuff like anime and like Japanese inspirations, but I can definitely appreciate this design. I really like the shapes. I really like the proportions. I love the shiny. That shiny's amazing. I would definitely shiny Ledyba and Ledyba for it.
Ledyba and Ledian have really underwhelming shinies. It's just like slightly different, more orange shade of red. So I wanted to kind of go nuts with this. Just make it look kind of finished, you know?
Yeah, and I love the what's it called? The information that you included, like the level up moves and like the way the egg looks. I think that's just amazing details to include, and I can get a better vibe of this Pokemon as a whole just with all this information. So I really appreciate the fact that you took the time to include those things.
Oh, thank you so much. Yeah, I have a lot of fun with that. So I definitely wanted to include it for this challenge. So yeah, thank you so much.
All right. So I also chose a Gen 2 bug type. This one is not really shafted at all by Game Freak. This kind of started out as a rework to a certain mega form, but I kind of went in a completely different direction with it afterwards. So it still kind of shares the same elements, but adds in like new inspiration. So I'm just going to go ahead and share him now. At
that's so cool.
That pose.
This is a evolution for Heracross. As you guys can see, I accentuated like a lot of his details. I think one thing that, just to put it out there, I'm not the biggest fan of Mega Heracross. I might get hate for that, but I just don't really like where they took the direction, because like Heracross is like a Hercules beetle, a rhinoceros beetle. Also, like he like fights and like, you know, especially in the anime, he like swings like his horn around and just flings people to the other side. Well, Mega Heracross, I mean, to be completely fair, is literally just Mega Man.
Wait a second. I gotta look at Mega Heracross again.
Yeah, no, he's literally Mega Man. Like his claws like go inwards, and he has like flaps on his arms, and they open up, and that's why he has Skill Link, and he has like almost every single Skill Link move, like physical move.
Interesting. I get what you're saying. Like, I know, I was always a big fan of like Pinsir, and oh my gosh, they do turn into like cannons. I just saw your picture.
Yeah. Okay. No, I see it. I see it.
I was always a big fan of like Pinsir and Heracross, obviously being like its like semi counterpart. And I felt the same way. I felt like Heracross and Pinsir feel like when they got their megas, it was like, okay, let's just redesign or add on. Heracross felt like just a redesign of what they wanted to do with a Pokemon that was already so cool. And Pinsir felt like they just added stuff onto it. Like they digivolved it.
Agree. Yeah, they really did, because Pinsir looks like a proper Mega to me, but Heracross feels like it should have been an evolution, like in a specific way or something. I'm not really too sure, but
I get you. It doesn't have those kind of like crazy out there Mega vibes with, you know, a million spikes, and yeah, it's a very understated design by comparison to Pinsir.
Yeah, the specific inspirations for my evolution at Lotera here are actually also coming from Tokusatsu, actually. Specifically Kamen Rider Kabuto. I'm like a really huge fan of Kamen Rider, and this initial design actually started off as a reference to the fact that in Kamen Rider Kabuto, he has two specific forms starting out. One is the armored form, and the other one is the cast-off form. So essentially, he starts like all bulky and slow, and then he upgrades and he goes like really fast. So this Heracross evolution is like super fast. He like flies around, and he can just the flaps on his arms essentially open up to give him more speed, essentially. And also like the horn is based off of that too. I also really like how Mega Heracross specifically had like the outlines on him. I feel like that gave him a lot of character, so I wanted to like bring that into my design, but more so like give it more I guess like they would glow, I guess, if I were to like animate it. This is the shiny. You will notice something very immediately after seeing it.
Yes.
I am Iron Man.
Yep. Yeah. I just felt like it really worked for this one, but also because Kamen Rider Kabuto himself is red. So I was like, oh, let me kind of like mix the two. So he has like gray, mostly like black accents and like blue eyes. And I was like, well, what should I make the other color? So I just chose gold because I just like the color scheme. I think gold is like...
It looks really cool.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I was going to say too, I like that you brought in the red from Mega Heracross, because I felt like that was one of the things that it did right. That red and blue color scheme was really good. I really liked it. It was just a shame that it was on a Pokemon that didn't feel like Heracross. And you really took both those concepts of, okay, well, what if it did feel like Heracross? And I dig it. I think bringing in the red was a very good choice. And I think
it's very dynamic, yeah.
Oh yeah. Applying that to the shiny in a much more covered way and including that gold, man, that is...
Yeah, that's beautiful.
Thank you.
Wow.
That is sick.
And again, I got to circle back to that pose, dude. That is, it is so dynamic. Like I can almost feel it like punching me in the face through the screen. It's just wow, fantastic stuff, dude.
Thank you.
I've been
trying
to. Really good.
Thank you. I've been really trying to upgrade my dynamic posing, because I was kind of like, I don't really see a lot of like Fakemon artists do dynamic posing, except for like a few. I can't think of one off the top of my head, but like I just been wanting to practice it a lot more. Just because I think it looks cool. It makes it a lot less static.
It makes me think of Heracross, because I know in like the anime, Heracross likes to fight, and that's kind of the whole inspiration for it, right? Is that it's a fighting bug. It's a rhinoceros beetle. Their whole thing is that they fight and launch things with their thing, and it feels like he's calling me out. It feels like he's no longer waiting for the fight to come to him. He's like, no, we are going to fight. This is no longer a decision.
Like, yeah,
That's
you're going to come to
fantastic.
me. He's just taunting.
I dig it so much.
Thank you.
What are its types?
Oh, yeah, because I didn't even get to make the dex entry. That is because I have all the information. I just have to actually make it. But he's still bug fighting.
Okay.
But he does have a custom ability that I made just based off of Common Rider Kabuto, which is literally just called Cast Off, which essentially once he gets to 50% health, he gets a +2 in attack and a +2 in speed, but he does get -2 in defense and special defense, and it only lasts for 3 turns.
That's a good
That's a
ability.
pretty cool ability, yeah. I just find it kind of funny. You did bug fighting, I did bug fighting, Angel did bug electric, and then we also got a fighting type in the Maractus evolution as well. So there's almost like a theme going on.
Yeah.
Right.
Unintentionally.
You can
That's
take
cool.
bug or you can take fighting.
Yep, no in-betweens. That's your starters.
Oh, I love it. It's so cool. I can't say enough how I think that you captured a lot of the positives of Mega Heracross and just reattach those onto something that... Because Mega Heracross does feel like it should be an evolution. It doesn't feel like a Mega. But at the same time, it also feels like a weird redesign. And you solved... I think you solved all those problems. You 100% across the board solved all of those problems. And I like the fact that you even kept its, like, white claws and white, like, toe beans. Because it gives some breakup to that coloring, and
Oh yeah.
I could sit here and I could talk for hours on how great this design is. I could, but
Oh, wow, thank you. I'm literally blushing right now in real life.
he's turning shiny. Catch him. Well, awesome job. Thanks so much, guys, for being here and going over these designs. All just awesome designs. I think that was a really good observation on. We all kind of picked something around the same, but I think that we have such vastly different designs, all just insane. I'm scrolling through, looking at all of them right now, and
Yeah, me too.
you know, we've got some great like bug fighters who are super like pumped and jazzed to fight and ready to go, whether that be defeat or victory. And then we have our musical bug types that gain that electric ability and are able to make this nice little mariachi, this wonderful
They're playing
tandem.
the battle theme.
Oh yeah, that's what's going on. When the battle starts between our Ledian evolution and our Heracross evolution, these guys just drop into the back and start playing the battle music.
That's awesome.
Right.
Meanwhile, my Lebractus is like in the back punching its fists, like, and I'm got winner.
Nice. I love it.
So I can totally see
This
this
should
little
definitely be
scene.
a scene.
Yeah, this is good. This is a great little
Yeah.
scene, and I can't tell you guys how much that I appreciate you guys working together to kind of figure this out and make this something. This is awesome. These are some great designs. I'll go ahead and plug myself, and then if you guys want to plug your socials as well, you can find me on Instagram at Thesterninator_art. You can find me on X as Thesterninator. You can find me on YouTube here.
You guys can find me on Instagram, X, and YouTube. My Greek region is under Meraki region on Instagram, and I am OddnDraw, odd, the letter N, draw on all the socials.
I'm PewterCityJim pretty much everywhere being YouTube, Instagram, and Kara. I just recently got a Kara account. It's pretty cool. Yeah, thank you so much.
And you guys can find me on Instagram. That's Devy_A6. They unfortunately didn't let me take Dev. That's DEVVY _A6. And on YouTube, Dev_.
Right on. Thank you guys so much for being here. And if you have a Pokemon that you think deserved an evolution, let me know down in the comments. I'd love to hear about it. We might hop onto another collaboration similar to this in the future, and having more prompts is always a good thing. I posted the same thing to Instagram, and we got a ton of outcry of Pokemon that deserved to have evolution. So let me know down in the comments. Also, don't forget to like and subscribe, not just to me, but also to these other very, very talented artists. I look forward to seeing you in the next video.